Oregon added a new congressional district after the 2020 census. The November election was the first for that new district, District 6, which includes Yamhill and Polk counties and portions of Marion and Clackamas counties. Democrat and former Oregon House Majority Whip Andrea Salinas won the election for District 6, defeating Republican businessman Mike Erickson 50% to 47%, or by about 7,000 votes. We interviewed both Erickson and Salinas on this program, including Lisa Balick's recent interview with the Congresswoman-elect, who, along with Republican Lori Chavez de Remer, becomes the first Latina from Oregon ever elected to Congress. Salinas was a former aide to U.S. Senator Harry Reid and U.S. Representatives Peter Stark and Darlene Hooley.
How do you know what your constituents want on issues when it's such a varied area? You've got rural, rich and poor areas. How do you know what everybody wants?
So really, it's getting out into the communities and talking to constituents. And, I did that on the campaign trail, and I've heard from folks all across the district, not, in no one particular area, that the cost of living was, has been a real hardship for families, working families.
Meanwhile, Erickson filed a defamation case against the Salinas campaign. Erickson accusing the Salinas campaign of knowingly running false information in their campaign ads. Erickson's attorneys say Erickson has never been charged with illegal drug possession, and an image of someone cutting what appears to be 4 lines of cocaine was intentionally misleading. A Clackamas County judge ruled the case could go forward. Erickson is seeking $800,000 in reimbursement for ads he says he had to run to counter the claims. There's another interesting postscript to this 6th congressional district race. Before Salinas won the Democratic primary, we interviewed a political unknown from Vernonia named Carrick Flynn, a Yale Law School graduate and a pandemic response specialist. He made a big splash in the primary with ubiquitous campaign ads and big money support from a guy named Sam Bankman-Fried. Financial support of a cryptocurrency billionaire. His name is Sam Bankman-Fried through the PAC Protect Our Future. Now, what's your response to people who say that you or he are trying to buy a seat in Congress?
So to clarify, I don't have any background in cryptocurrency at all. It's not a topic I know much about. I don't have any policy positions on it. The Protect Our Future PAC, from what I've seen on their website, and actually I think what one of the spokesmen from it said, it's interested in me because of my strong background in pandemic prevention.
This is the same Sam Bankman-Fried who was a cryptocurrency billionaire and contributed millions to political campaigns across the country. His crypto exchange, FTX, went bankrupt in spectacular fashion. Bankman-Fried was recently extradited from the Bahamas, faces 8 criminal counts, including securities fraud, money laundering, wire fraud, and conspiracy to avoid campaign finance regulations. While Democrats retain their slim control of the U.S. Senate, Republicans flipped the U.S. House of Representatives. Among those who helped Republicans achieve that majority, former Happy Valley Mayor Lori Chavez de Remer, who won Oregon's 5th congressional district over Democrat Jamie McLeod Skinner, who had defeated incumbent Democrat Kurt Schrader in the primary. We spoke with Lori Chavez de Remer shortly after her victory as she was going through her orientation in Washington, D.C. Here's what she had to say about flipping District 5 and Republicans taking the majority in the House. Is bipartisanship still possible in Washington, D.C.?
Absolutely. I spent a lot of time as, there in Oregon. That was one of the things that I focused on as mayor. You're a nonpartisan mayor. You're representing everybody in your city.
On the Senate side, we interviewed Oregon Senior Senator Ron Wyden several times over the past year. On his most recent visit, we talked about the critical Raphael Warnock victory in the Georgia Senate race and maintaining the slim majority in the Senate with the House now in Republican control.
It strengthens our hand in the committees. It strengthens our hand on nominations, for example, judges. And then I'm particularly pleased because Senator Warnock has worked very closely with me, particularly in terms of holding down health care costs.
Senator Wyden chairs the Senate Finance Committee. He's been in the Senate since 1966, succeeding Bob Packwood. The November election also saw a U.S. House seat in the Northwest flip from Republican to Democrat and serve as a referendum on the power of Trump. Incumbent Jamie Herrera Butler, one of 10 Republican congresspersons who voted to impeach then-President Trump, was ousted in the primary in Washington State's 3rd Congressional District by Trump-endorsed and former Green Beret Joe Kent. The 3rd District includes Vancouver and Clark County. One of Joe Kent's earliest local television interviews was on Eye on Northwest Politics. Why does the former president still hold such influence among Republicans?
Well, President Trump is still very much the leader of the Republican Party and the America First movement. So he ran a very successful presidency, and we believe that his agenda is just getting started. He represents a much broader movement of people that realize that the former confines of the political establishment, both Republicans and Democrats, the corporatist elite, have failed this country time and time again.
Washington State's primary rewards the top 2 vote getters regardless of party. So while Kent battled for votes with other Republicans, small business owner and Democrat Marie Gluzenkamp Perez won the primary, and in November won the general election by less than 1%. We talked with Gluzenkamp Perez in Washington, D.C. as she was wrapping up her freshman orientation on Capitol Hill.
Well, I think we're all facing frankly, a Congress that is in gridlock, hyper partisanship, obstruction. And I think that my experience pulling together so many moderate Republicans, independents, and Democrats together in Southwest Washington is really going to serve me well here.
Kent asked for a recount, but Gluzenkamp Perez's victory was confirmed. Kent finally conceded the race more than a month after the election. Next on this 1-year anniversary of Eye on Northwest Politics, the Give Me a Minute commentary segment that moved us the most. And yes, we get emails, not all of them positive. I'll share some of them after the break.